Alright, in today's lesson we will explore how to simplify expressions involving different kinds of roots, calling them nth roots, but that means instead of just the usual square root, we'll be dealing with fourth root, third root, fifth root, anything like that. We will not be using our beloved TI-30XS multiview. You can use a 4-function calculator, but that's it. Mostly we will be using the table, which will be provided for you on tests and quizzes. Anyways, let's look at number 1. The key thing that I want you to carry around in your brain is the idea that if the roots are the same, you can do the operation, you know, the multiplication or whatever it is. So, since they're both fourth root, I can go ahead and multiply these together and get the fourth root of 16. Now, looking at the chart under fourth power, I see the 16, so I see that the fourth root of 16 is 2. So that is going to be 2. Alright, that was crazy easy, man. Now, here I got the cube root. Since they're both cube roots, that means I can go ahead and do this division. Alright, and it turns out to be negative 512. So that means that this is going to equal the cube root of negative 512. Now, if this were an even root, I would just put not possible. But an odd root, the fact that it's negative just means that the answer is going to be negative. So that negative is going to stick around. Let's look at the chart and see if there is a 512. Alright, I'm looking under cube, at third power. I see the 512. The cube root is 8. So that means this is simply going to be negative 8. Not too shabby. Now, let's see, looking at this. Again, they're both the fifth root. So I can do the division. 3 goes into itself once. So it's a matter of how many times does 3 go into 23,328. Well, it goes in 7,776 times. So that means what I have here so far is 1 over the fifth root of 7,776. Okay, because technically I guess for a minute there I had the fifth root of 1, but guess what? The fifth root of 1 is 1. Now, let's see if 7,776 is on the fifth power list. Oh, look, there it is. 6. Alright, so the fifth root of this number is 6. So that means, at the end of the day, this is simply 1 over 6. Final answer. Okay, so far so easy. Uh-oh, variables alert. Alert. Well, I've got this 6 in front. That's going to stay in front for now. So I'm just going to leave this 6 out in the front. Now I have third root, so that means I can go ahead and do the multiplication that's implied here. Now, so 54 times 4 is 216. Alright, now notice that 216 is right here on the third power column. So That's why I'm drawing it as pink, because that will simplify and come outside. When I do x times x squared, I'm going to get x to the third power. That is also ready to go because that is divisible by 3. So I made that pink as well. So everything under this radical is going to reduce and come out. The cube root of 216 is 6. So that's going to come out as a 6. And then the cube root of x to the third power, I just divide and get x. Alright, so that comes outside the radical. So there's really nothing left under the radical. So there is no more radical. Everything got reduced and came out. In fact, I guess there's no need for me to put it in the front. Okay, this 216 became 6. This x to the third power became x. No more radical. But this 6 is still there. So I'm going to bring that down still. Okay, and this is going to wind up multiplying together. So the final answer will be 36x. Okay. So that's it for number 4. Okay, now let's take a look at number 5. All right, all of these are root 6, which means I can do the multiplication and the division. So up in the top, I'm going to have the 6th root. Now 8 times negative 16. All right, I've got 8 times negative 16. That's negative 128. This is probably going to be not possible because I have an even root and a negative number underneath. So that's going to be a no-go. But I'm going to have x to the 25th power. Okay, meanwhile, down here I still have this. All right, of 2x. Now, because they are the same root, I can go ahead and do this division. So then I'm going to have the 6th root of, now this is going to be negative 64. And this would be x to the 24th power. Remember, the x, when you divide, it's like you're subtracting or canceling. So I'm canceling out one of the x's. That's why it's 24 instead of 25. So we get to this point. Now again, because it's an even root of a negative number, this is just going to be not possible. All right, if this had been a 5th root or a 3rd root, I would have kept going, but you just can't do an even root of a negative number. It's not possible. Okay, so let's keep going. Number 6. 4th root, 4th root, 4th root, 4th root. That means we can do the multiplication and division. So here we go. 4th root. 4th root, I say. So 686 times 49. All right, that's 33,614. Okay, and then we've got this x to the 9th power. Meanwhile, in the denominator, we have 4th root of 14 x to the 5th power. Now, since they're both 4th roots, I can do this division. So I wonder if 3,614 I'm sorry, 33,614. I'm wondering if that is divisible by 14. Oh, look, it is. 2,401. So we will get the fourth root of 2,401. Now, what about these variables? Any guesses? That is going to be x to the fourth power. Again, you subtract, or you can think of it as canceling out 5 of the x's. All right, so I've got this so far. Now, I can, this x is ready to go because it's divisible by 4. But 2,401, let's see if this is on the fourth power chart. Oh, look, it's right there. The fourth root is 7. Okay? So I should have written these in pink. I didn't realize it. Both of these can be simplified. The fourth root of this number is 7. And for this variable, I just divide, and that would just be 1, so I just put x. So this is the final answer for number 6, is simply 7x. All right, let's not forget about good old square root. Up until now, we've been just doing these on our TI-30XS multiview and doing things like this, square root of 50, and we'd get 5 radical 2. But did you ever wonder where your calculator was getting these numbers from? Well, today is the day that you find that out. Because, remember, this is just like the square root, it's an understood 2, all right? It's the second root, the square root. But anyway, we are going to split this up, just like we did the other problems. So looking at the chart, I mean, you should be able to do this in your head, but we're looking for the biggest number possible on this list that divides evenly into 50. And clearly that is going to be 25. So that's why I'm going to split this up as the square root of, and then first I'm going to put that 25, which was on the list, and it's clearly it's 25 times 2. Now this pink number here will reduce and come out. The square root of 25, of course, is 5. Now this 2 is going to stay under the radical as the square root of 2. So that is what your calculator does when it's coming up with 5 radical 2. All right, now number 8. Now this time we're back on fifth roots. So 1,215, let's check the chart. The fifth power. Okay, it's not on here. Oh, sorry. It's not on here. So what I'm going to do instead, all right, I've got this 1,215. I need to figure out which one of these numbers will divide evenly into 1,215. This number is way too big to divide in, even have a shot. So I'm just going to try 243 and 32. So 1,215 divided by, what was that, 243? Yeah. Oh, goody. 5 times. That means 243 times 5 is the same thing as this number. So keep that in mind, 243 times 5. So this will be the same thing as the fifth root of 243 times 5. I highlighted the 243 because I can take the fifth root of that. The fifth root of 243 is 3. So this is going to come out of the radical as a 3. Everything here in blue is going to stay under the radical. 5th root of 5. So this would be the final answer. Alright, number 9. You see the 3 and the 5 in the front. We can definitely multiply those, so we're going to get 15 out of that. Alright, now these roots are both 4th roots, so because they're the same, we can go ahead and do this multiplication. So 24 times 2 is 48. So it's just a matter of simplifying this. Now 48 is not on the chart. Okay, we're talking about the 4th root, so we're looking at the 4th power. There's no 48, and the only number on the chart is 16. So let's try it out. So 48 divided by 16. Okay, that is 3. So that means that what I have is 15 times the 4th root. Ooh, that's not a very good 4. Let me try that again. I say the 4th root of, and then there's my 16 times 3. Now, I highlighted the 16 because I can do the 4th root of 16 because it's right there on the chart. I say it's right there on the chart. The 4th root of 16 is 2. Okay, so this 16 is gonna, I'm gonna simplify that down to just a 2. Now everything in blue is going to stay like it is. So this is going to be times 15 times the 4th root of 3. So for your final answer, you have to go ahead and multiply these as well. So I will have 30 times the 4th root of 3. So that is your final answer. Let me try one more time with that 4 though. Okay, that is how you do that. Okay, I see that negative number, but because it's an odd power, it's possible. So 6,250, 5th root. Okay, there's no 6,250 here. So I need to look for the biggest number in the 5th power column that will divide into 6,250. Messing up. Okay, 6,250. So let's start with this number, all right? It's the first number that even has a chance. Oh, look! It divides in evenly. You can kind of see it as 3 is half of 6 and 125 is half of 250. Anyway, it does go in evenly 2 times. Alright, which means I can write this number as 3,125 times 2. So this will become the 5th root of negative 3,125 times 2. Now 34 is not divisible by 5. the closest number that is divisible by 5 is 30. So I can rewrite x to the 34th power as x to the 30th power with an extra 4th power left over. Together, these make 34. So look, everything in pink is going to simplify and come out. Everything in blue has to stay under the radical. So looking back at the chart for the negative 3,125, the fifth root of that is 5. Okay, so this will become, well, negative 5, you know, because it's negative. And this, for the x, remember you divide. So I will do 30 divided by 5, which is 6. So I will have x to the 6th power. So that's what happens with the pink things. Now the blue part just stays like it is. So I will have the fifth root of 2x to the 4th power. And this, my friends, is the final answer. Alright, this is the third root. Let's see. So let's see if 1024 is on the chart. Nope, no 1024. So let's work on it. So we're dealing with 1024, and we're looking for which one of these numbers can divide into it. Let's start with 512. Oh, okay, there it is. 512 goes in twice. So that means this is the same thing as 512 times 2. So, let's do that. So I can rewrite this as the cube root of 512 times 2. Now, this j, is this ready to go, or do I need to break it up? I'm going to have to break it up. 16 is not divisible by 3. The closest thing is 15. So I can rewrite this as j to the 15th power with how many j's left over? Just the one extra j to make 16. Now, how about the k's? Are they ready to go, or do I need to break this up? The k's are ready to go because 9 is divisible by 3. What about this L? L is second power is not divisible by 3, but there are no numbers less than 3 to work with. So I'm just going to be stuck with L to the second power, L squared. So everything here in pink is going to simplify and come out of the radical. Everything in blue is going to be stuck under the radical. Now the third root of 512 is 8. By the way, guys, do you have a pencil in your hand? Shame on you if you do. If you have a pencil in your hand, please get rid of it. If you're copying off of me, that's not going to help you learn. Watch the video and then go back and do it yourself. Now this j, we divide, so this will be j to the 5th power. And then k, this will be k to the 3rd power, because again I divide. So that's the pink stuff. Now the blue stuff just stays like it was. So cube root of 2j L squared. So that will be your final answer. Okay, number 12. So I've got this 2ab I've got to deal with. I'm just going to leave that alone for right now. Now, fourth root. Let's see if 729 is on the list. Okay, fourth root, no 729. Okay, so let's start trying these numbers one at a time. Okay, 256 did not work. Okay, fine. How about 729 divided by 81? Bam! There it is. So 81 times 9 is what it is. So I can rewrite this as the fourth root of 81 times 9. Now for the variables, this a, 9 is not divisible by 4. So I will have to split this up. And I will split it up as a to the 8th power. That's the closest thing that is divisible by 4. And that will leave one extra a to make a to the 9th power. And then b to the 6th power. 6 is not divisible by 4. So I can go ahead and do b to the 4th power, because that's the closest thing that is divisible. And since it's a total of 6, that means I'll have an extra 2 b's left over. So once again, everything that is in pink is going to simplify and come out. So the fourth root of 81, all right, is 3. So I will have a 3 out front. All right, the fourth root of a to the 8th power is a squared. All right, just 8 divided by 4. And then the fourth root of b to the 4th power is just b, because 4 divided by 4 is 1. You don't need to put the 1. So that's it for the pink stuff. Okay, now the blue stuff, I'm just going to copy it down the way it is. So this is like times 2ab times the fourth root of 9ab squared. All I have to do is multiply this stuff in the front together, and then I'll be done. So 3 times 2 is 6, so I'll have 6. A squared times a is a to the 3rd power. And then b times b, well, that's b squared. All right, so that would be the final answer for number 12. Okay, get ready, get ready, get ready. We've got this negative 6 and this 2. Let's go ahead and multiply that together. That's going to give us negative 12. Okay, let's see. I see G and I see H. So that's just GH. Okay. Now we get to the radical part. So they both have fourth root. So I can go ahead and put this together. Fourth root. Okay, fine. 125 times 125. Let's check it out. That is 15,625. Okay, good times. And that will be G, all right, looking at all these G's, that is G to the 8th power, all right, you got to add those exponents. And then that'll be H to the 10th power. All right, and those H's up. So, one big kind of ugly problem. let's break it down. So the part in the front, that's just going to stay there. So bringing that down, negative 12GH fourth root. Okay, fourth root. So let's see if 15,625 is on the list. No, it's not. Okay, so let's start looking for what divides evenly into that. So what did I say this was? Did I say 15,625? Is that what I said? That is what I said. Okay. Obviously 10,000 is too big, so we're just going to start dividing one by one. I'll write on this side 15,625. All right, show. All right, how about dividing by 6,561? Nope. All right, how about 4,096? Nope. How about 2,401? Nope. How about 1,296? Nope. All right, how about 625? Whoops, I typed that in wrong. 15,625 divided by 625. Oh, look, there it is, 25 times. So 625 times 25. Now, g to the 8th is ready to go because that is divisible by 4. So I'll just put g to the 8th in pink. H to the 10th, 10 is not divisible by 4. So I will put h to the 8th, which is the nearest number less than 10 that is divisible by 4. And that will leave 2 h's left over. All right, together these would make h to the 10th power. So, as you've seen several times before, everything here in pink is going to simplify and come out. Now, the fourth root of 625 is 5. So, I will have a 5 from this. Dividing by 2, I will have dividing by 4, I will have g squared and h squared. For the same reason. So that takes care of everything here in pink. Everything in blue, I'm just going to bring it down. All right. And I encourage you to use different colored markers or pens or pencils or a highlighter to do the colors like I am. So I have times negative 12 GH fourth root of, now the blue stuff, 25h squared. Okay, so I just have to do this out and then I'm done. So 5 times 12 is 60, so I'm going to have negative 60. G squared times g, that's g to the 3rd power. H squared times h, that's h to the 3rd power. And then I've still got my fourth root of 25h squared. So this will be your final answer for number 13. All right, number 14. Okay. Fifth root, fifth root, fifth root. Let's go ahead and do this multiplication. So, looking at just this part, I'm going to have the fifth root. I have the fifth root. 4 times 6 is 24. Okay, you know what, maybe I'll just put this right here underneath. So I have 24. Alright, looking at these j's, that'll be j to the 9th power. And looking at these k's, that'll be k to the 20th power. Okay, so that's what I get if I put these two together. So really I can forget about this now. I've replaced it with this blue stuff. Now, because we're all fifth root, I can do this division. So, well, hopefully it'll just go in evenly. So this part in the front is just going to sit there. So I will have 2j squared k to the 3rd power. All right, just copy that down. Okay, 5,832. Let me try that again. 5,832 divided by 24. Okay, that's 243. So, I will have fifth root of 243. Now the variables, okay, looking at these j's. Better not do that. Okay. Alright, I've got j to the 25th divided by j to the 9th. Remember, you subtract. 25 minus 9 would be 16. So this will be j to the 16th power. Okay. Now looking at those k's, alright, I'm looking at k to the 28th power and this k to the 20th power. Remember, I'm subtracting here. 28 minus 20 is 8. So I'm going to have k to the 8th power. Alright, so it doesn't look so bad anymore. Now again, this part in the front is just going to sit there. So I have 2j squared k to the 3rd power. Let's check and see if 243 is on the 5th power list. Oh, look, there it is. It's 3. Alright, the main thing is it's on the list. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to write it in pink then. So here's what I'll have. I'm doing the 5th root. Now 243 is a perfect 5th power. So it's on the list. So I will just write it in pink. Now 16 is not divisible by 5. So I will have to rewrite it as j to the 15th power times an extra j. Alright? And 8 is not divisible by 5. So I will have to rewrite k to the 8th power as k to the 5th power times k to the 3rd power. Alright, together they make 8. Alright, now everything in pink can be simplified and brought outside the radical. So as we saw a moment ago, the 5th root of 243 is 3. So this is going to become a 3. So out front I will have 3. And then for the variables you just divide. So this will be j to the 3rd power. You divide that. And it'll just be k, just plain k, because 5 divided by 5 is 1. So that's it for these pink things. Now I'm just going to write down everything in blue. So this will be times 2j squared k to the third power. And fifth root j k to the third power. Everything in blue just stays here. All right, last step is cleaning this up. So 3 times 2 is 6. J to the third times j squared is j to the fifth power. K times k to the third is k to the fourth power. And then we still have the radical. So fifth root of j k to the third power. So this will be the final answer for number 14. Okay? All right, number 15. Okay, let's go ahead and multiply this together. So third root, 27 times 18. That's 486. All right, that'll be w to the 16th power, all right? W times w 15th, you add them up. And then we still have this over cube root of 3w to the fifth power. Okay. So now we divide, all right? They're both the same root, so we can divide. So 486 divided by 3. All right, so that's 162. So we will have the cube root of 162. All right, now remember here, when we're dividing, we basically subtract. So this will be w to the 11th power. 16 minus 5 is 11. So this is not looking too bad. Now, cube root. I'm betting 162 is not on the list. Okay? So let's work it out. All right, so we've got 162. All right, is that divisible by 64 perchance? No. Okay, what about 27? Yes. Okay. Yes, I see that meeting. All right, so that means 27 times 6. So I can rewrite this as the cube root, and I saw that this was the same thing as 27, all right, times 6. 11 is not divisible by 3, so I will write this as w to the 9th power, the closest thing that is divisible by 3. And this will leave an extra 2 w's, w squared. All right, to make 11. So everything here in pink will simplify and come out. All right, the cube root of 27 is 3. And the cube root of w to the 9th power is w to the 3rd power. You just divide, 9 divided by 3. Everything here in blue is going to stay like it is. So I will have then the cube root of 6w squared. So this will be the final answer for number 15. And that is the final answer for this video. I hope it was helpful. Please make sure that you can do this on your own. okay? I'm not there to see you, but if you were copying this down onto your paper, you are going to fail the test. Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you. So please do it again by yourself. Make sure you can do it by yourself. I will see you on the next video.